In this lesson, the most important thing we should exercise is not the penis but the brain if we want our sex life to last longer. First and foremost, let me ask you a simple question: where do we feel pleasure during sex? Many people are expected to say, of course, the penis, because friction stimulates the penis to have sexual pleasure. This is an illusion. This illusion is the main reason why premature ejaculation is so difficult to overcome. Many of us have PE because we have an intense sensation of ejaculation while just inserting the penis into the vagina or starting masturbation. It is natural to believe that the penis is overly sensitive due to friction. Will it be possible to extend the time by lowering the penis sensitivity? When a wrong conclusion is reached, some people jerk using their hands, others use a dry towel to rub the penis, and some use a softer brush to brush the glands. But PE is still there and nothing changed. I believe that many people have tried drugs to numb the nerve in order to delay sexual intercourse time, but it didn't work for most people. Because of our previous course explanation, I believe we all understand the essential reasons that lead to PE. PE is more than just penis sensitivity, so relying on friction to stimulate the penis is ineffective. Furthermore, rubbing the penis exercise necessitates specific methods and skills. Simply rough rubbing the stimulation will not yield satisfactory results. So, where does the pleasure we derive from sex come from? The correct response comes from our brain. When our brain adapts to the high intensity of sexual stimulation, the duration of intercourse naturally increases. Let us first examine how ejaculation occurs. The sensory organ sends sexual stimulation signals to the brain sexual center when libido energy exceeds the highest individual tolerance intensity, which we call the sexual pleasure value. The brain reacts in ejaculation. We can clearly see from this that the purpose of delay training is to train the brain's ability to tolerate various sexual stimuli. During sexual intercourse, the penis is only one channel for receiving sexual stimulation signals. After physical stimulation on the penis, the sexual nerve transmits the information to the sexual center of the brain. They are all controlled by the brain. Some people ejaculate before they put it into vagina during sexual intercourse or ejaculate after only a short period of watching pornography because their brain's tolerance for the pleasure of sexual stimulation is low. The reason for this is that we need to exercise to strengthen the brain nerves that can tolerate sexual pleasure. Which is why we can treat PE in the hospital, because it is just a bad habit that our brain has developed to ejaculate quickly. We need to train to change this deeply ingrained sexual reflex pattern. Lovemaking is a skill, and any skill requires the right method and a long period of practice to master and improve. I will explain the PE treatment training system in detail after you understand the whole concept and root cause of PE. Only to thoroughly understand the principle we can play in the latter part of the exercise to get twice the result with half the effort. Although we practice by stimulating the penis, we ultimately have only one goal in mind: to shape brain nerves that can tolerate pleasure. Today, we'll begin with a quick rundown of the penis caress method, which is also the most basic penis strengthening training method. This is a training method that does not aim to ejaculate but instead focuses on gently caressing the glands. Because the glands is the most sensitive part of the penis, we must practice fully enjoying the sexual pleasure at the same time. Which is why we must learn to enjoy the pleasure for as long as possible without thinking about the negative pressure of whether it will ejaculate prematurely. The method is as follows: gently caress the glands of the penis with your hand for caressing. It requires you to learn to fully enjoy sexual pleasure for longer time when practicing. And at the same time, you can learn to control your own sexual excitement. Point 1. Make sure to concentrate on the sensation of the penis and forbid to think of anything else unrelated to the exercise. Point 2. This is not an exercise for ejaculation but rather to learn to enjoy the pleasure and gain control over the feeling of excitement. I detailed this theory and method offline, and the friends who mastered the practice have changed dramatically. Some students had feedback that they were always worried about too much before they start doing PE treatment training. However, after they started the training practice, they can now practice as a kind of enjoyment. After all, the sexual pleasure generated by practice is one of the most wonderful experiences in life. This stress-free sexual pleasure practice not only allows you to enjoy the pleasure experience for a longer period of time but also shapes the pleasure-tolerant brain, allowing us to overcome the root cause of PE. The only thing you should remember from this lesson is that the most important thing to exercise is not the penis, but the brain. That concludes today's lesson. Thank you for your time and support. We'll see you in the next lesson.